Pato here with 2XMA Fitness. Today we're going to have an instructional video. We're going to learn how to work the fist in boxing and also how to work some of the boxing techniques. Today we're going to focus more on the upper body, and then we'll begin a series. Today will be the first one in self-defense. Okay, so let's get right to it. But first, let's loosen up, let's warm up. Okay, so we're going to circle our arms, going back 1, 2, 3, going the other way, go 1, 2, 3, and shoulders, go 1, 2, 3, other way, go 1, 2, and 3. Now head to your left, to your right, left, right, left, and right. Circle 1, 2, 3, other way, go 1, 2, and 3. We'll bring the arms up again, and over, under, and out. Let's go 1, 2, out, 2, out, 2, out, 1, 2, out, 2, out, 1, 2, out, 2, out, 1, 2, out. Let's circle the wrist, go 1, 2, 3, going the other way, go 1, 2, and 3, and shake it off. Okay, great. Now maybe the hips. Let's go circle. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Opposite way, go 1, 2, and 3, and shake it off. You can shake your legs too. All right, very good. Okay, now we'll go right to it. Now first we're going to learn how to do a proper fist, and this will be a martial arts based fist. Okay, all right, so this is what we're going to do. Bring your arms up, fingers together, keep your fingers together right there, and then you're going to curl once, keeping the fingers still together, curl twice, put the thumb over on top like this. Okay, so it's going to look like that, it's going to look like that, and then the front, it's going to look like that. Nice and flat, nice and flat. That's a martial art fist. Now, once you got the fist clenched, you got to make sure that the fist is in line with your arm. In other words, your fist is not going to go twisted up that way or going down that way. The reason for that is if you strike a target this way, then it's going to bend your fist up, all right, further, and you could get damage to your wrist. Okay, same way if you went down that way and punched, your fist could go down that way. The pressure could cause damage to your wrist. So you're going to keep it in line with your arm so that when you strike the target, the pressure goes and is absorbed right through the arm. Okay, so that's your fist. Good. All right, so now that we got the fist, we're going to work some boxing techniques, boxing strikes. Okay, so the first one is the jab. But before we do that, okay, once you have your boxer stance, which we'll get into that when we go to the lower body in our next segment, your fists are going to go up this way, right? Close to the chin, close to the cheeks, not touching, but very close. And then you're going to tilt your head lower. So you're tucking your chin in, all right, keeping your eye gaze in the front, tucking your chin in, head ducked down a little bit, tilted down a little bit. The reason for that is if a punch is coming towards you, instead of hitting your nose, it would hit the forehead where you have some amount of protection, okay, with the skull. So not this way, just leave yourself as an open target. Rather, you tuck it down, keep your eyes in front, and you're protected with each fist on your side. So if a punch were coming this way around to your cheek, then you have this arm to absorb it. On the other side, you have this arm to absorb it. But we'll get into a few blocks later also, okay? So first we're gonna work the jab. The jab means that the arm that is in front, and this time it will be your right hand, my left hand, okay? We're gonna stretch it out, reach towards the target, and then we bring it back. We reach towards the target, and then we bring it back. And we're also gonna add a pivot. when we get to the lower section and we work on stances, we'll also work on the pivot. But for the sake of this lesson, you're going to twist on your toes, twist the body a little bit, still looking in front. So now you're kind of sideways as you punch, and you bring it back and return the foot back. So we punch, jab, and we bring it back. We punch, jab, and we bring it back. So here, we're going to work it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always bring it back so you maintain the protection of your face. Okay, good. So that was the jab. And if we do it this way, all right, same thing, jab and back. Jab and back. Jab, jab, jab. If we switch, it's going to be the same. Jab and back, jab and back, jab, jab and back. Always returning the fist or arm close to your body. And also for the midsection, you try to avoid lifting your elbows up away from the body. That way your rib cage will be exposed. Okay? So you're going to keep the elbows down, your arms close to the body, nice and tight, but relaxed at the same time. As you jab, you bring it back. You jab, you bring it back. Good. So that was the jab. Next, we're going to work on the cross punch, or some call it the reverse punch. And that means you're using the arm that is behind. The arm that is behind. The arm in front was for the jab. Now the arm in behind is going to do the cross punch. So here, the cross punch, it comes from behind. You punch and back. And this time you're going to pivot on the back foot. Okay, pivot on the toes, twist your body, reach for the target, bring it back. And you see, as I do that, I don't lower the other arm. I won't punch lowering this one. No, that would be wrong. And that means I'll be exposed on this side of my body for an attack or counter attack. So back here, I keep the arm up, and with the back arm, I pivot and punch and back. Pivot, punch and back. So again, punch and back. 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 And facing this way, same thing. It will be punch, back, cross punch, and back. And remember, even though we are saying cross punch, you won't be crossing the arms over. No. You maintain the focal point on the target, okay? Wherever the target is, your focal point on the target, go to the same point and bring it back. Don't cross it over, even though we are saying cross punch, okay? So to the same target and back, so same here, we're gonna work punch and back, punch and back. Don't forget your pivot, using the hips, punch and back, punch and back. Good. So that was the jab, and that was the cross punch. And we can combine both of them, and we do the jab. As it comes back, we do the cross punch. As it comes back, jab and cross punch. Okay, so faster. We're going to do a combo, a combination. 1, 2, and back. Punch, punch, and back. And don't forget your pivot. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. Good. So that has been the jab and the cross punch. So we will now continue with our first in a series of self-defense lessons. And today we're going to begin with something called avoiding potentially dangerous situations. The best self-defense is when you're able to avoid a fight. The best self-defense is when you're able to avoid a fight. And that means if you can talk your way out of it, if you can de-escalate this situation so that it doesn't turn into a fight or become a fight, then that would be the best self-defense option. However, there are times that that option is not one that you can use. But today, we're going to work first on what you need to do. Always one of the first things you need to always be aware of and to do in order to stay alive on the street. And the first thing is with your eyes. Always make sure you can see the assailant's hands, where they are. Once you can't see those hands, chances are you're in more danger than you think you are. If you can see the hands, then at least you know how much danger you're in. If the person is going in to grab something, going down to pick up something, you can see the hands. But if you can't see the hands, that is when you are in danger. We'll get to that in another lesson. For instance, if I have my hands in my pocket or somewhere hidden, you can't see them. So I could have a knife, I could have a gun, and you wouldn't know. So first thing you must try to be aware of and always ensure you're aware of is that you can see the hands of your assailant. Okay, but today what we're gonna learn is distance. Distance between you and the assailant. A minimum distance you should be maintaining. Now I'm going to use this as an example. So I have a bow staff here, and usually when you're comfortable with somebody, the closest you get is 1 arm's length. That's probably my comfort zone with somebody I am so used to, very friendly with. This is the comfort zone. And if you want to try it, if you have somebody you can try it with, just try getting any closer than 1 arm's length. And this is somebody I know, this is somebody who I know is friendly, and nobody talks to anybody this close. It just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel comfortable. Even with my wife, I don't talk to her this close. We will always probably maintain this distance when we are involved in a conversation, depending on the situation. Okay, so now we are looking at a stranger, or maybe even not a stranger, but somebody who you get the sense that they want to hurt you physically. You won't be keeping 1 arm's length. Okay, what you will do, and I'll put this over here. Okay, so this would be 1 arm's length. The minimum you want to keep with an assailant or as somebody who you believe is trying to hurt you physically, minimum is 2 arm's length. So this is 1 arm's length, and approximately, let's give it another arm's length. So this is the minimum distance you want to be within. You want to be separated from somebody who you think is trying to do harm to you physically. Okay, so always maintaining at least approximately 2 arm's length, because from this distance, unless the person has a gun, if they have a knife or a stick, or maybe want to use their hands especially, then at least you have the distance and also the time to react and to defend yourself. If you're this close and the person had a knife, right there, they got you. Right there, they got you. Right there, they got you. But if you're this wide apart, then they would have to take a step in or move closer in order to cause harm to your body physically. If they don't possess a gun, or if they're not a knife thrower. So always remember, in the spectrum of self-defense, first you want to try to be able to talk yourself out of the situation if possible, by de-escalating the situation, not using words that will aggravate the situation and put you in a situation that you're already put you in a worse situation than you already are in. So you want to use words that are firm, like stop, get away from me, take your hands off of me, but you're not going to swear at the person, you're not going to use any vulgar language, you're not going to use anything, words that would cause the person to be angrier or than they already are in. So always using appropriate words. Stop, get away from me, take your hands off of me. And then also learning to use your voice, which we will talk about more in the next lesson. So don't forget, first thing is try and avoid potentially dangerous situations. If you know you are in a bad place, or if you know there's an area that is known to be notorious for violence, then you want to avoid areas like that as much as possible. Then the second thing is trying to talk yourself out of the situation by de-escalating the situation. And the next lesson will also learn how to be calm when faced with such adversity. So then the third thing is keeping your eyes on the assailant. Always keeping your eyes on the assailant. And what are you keeping your eyes on mainly? You're keeping your eyes on their hands. You want to see where their hands are. If you can see their hands, then you are in a better place. Then the last thing is maintaining at least 2 arms length distance from the assailant. Okay? Approximately 2 arms length from the assailant. You can communicate from this distance and so on. Okay, so in our next lesson, we'll be working on the next step. What you do from the first response to the second response. Okay? Alright, so this has been Master Atto with 2XMA Fitness for your first lesson in boxer's punch and also self-defense. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, give me a comment, and we'll have more coming to you very soon. Stay tuned. Thank you so very much. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. 2XMA Fitness, brought to you by Master Atto Mensa. See you again soon.